Hi, I'm Carolyn.
And I'm Anna. We're two sisters who love crafting and figuring things out. Thanks so much for joining us. Episode 11, we're in my backyard today. It is Saturday, September 24th, and welcome.
Right, so we're filming on Saturday, and again, we'll release next Thursday, just to give us some time to process everything. This episode, we're gonna have what we're wearing, of course. We're going to talk about our September sampler progress. We've been working on that. Anna has some almost finishing that she's going to share with us. We're also going to talk about a new yarn that I bought that I love and I'm very curious about. And then we'll end with our normal thumbs up.
All right.
So let's go.
Yeah, we continue to just really enjoy building community with all of you, and we thank you for your comments. It is just... they're informative, they're funny, they're encouraging, and we thank you very much for those.
Yeah, I really feel like we're starting to develop stitchy friends, so that's also really fun. Two things I wanted to highlight. First, several of you commented on the historic Greek sampler that I showed. I'm going to just put a picture of it right here again. And several of you mentioned down the right-hand border is the traditional Greek cross, and I hadn't picked up on that. So just people like that, and then several other people were just noticing other things about the sampler that they felt that it was Greek, even though it had been stitched in Egypt. So I think that's really neat, and I continue to love that sampler and hope to be able to stitch that one day.
I'm sure there's even more for us to learn about it.
I'm sure.
We're just meeting it. Yeah.
And I feel that too, like when you're stitching a historic sampler or learning about it, there's all this they're like hidden gems. Do you remember like going to the dentist's office and there were the highlights and you had to find things in pictures? Does anybody else
that brings back memories.
And it's like looking at a sampler and you're finding these histories or these little clues in there. So I think there are more clues to be found as well.
Yeah.
I also want to thank all of you that sent me videos or ideas for techniques of how to start a thread when you have a single thread and you're starting, there's no place quickly to sew it under. So I looked at the video on the pin stitch, and I'm going to link it below. I looked at the Nicola Parkman one, and that was awesome, and I've been using that and I'll talk about that a little bit when we talk about BH 1820.
I want to see that.
Yeah, so I'm getting that to work. And then somebody else sent a really intriguing one that is a variation on the loop for a single strand. And I've watched the video. I haven't tried it yet. I wanted to get my pin stitch down, but I'm going to definitely be exploring that. And in the description box below, I'll link to those. And then also, you can also get a link to our show notes that have photos and more information about our episode. So that's available there. So thank you for everybody contributing that information. You got me going, and I'm so excited. It really works.
Yeah,
so
I feel like I'm just soaking up all of these tips. It's just really fun.
It is up
receive.
my game, up my stitching game. I know, I love it.
I have a funny story that happened to me at school the other day. I was wearing this shirt and just saying good morning to everybody in the hallway. It was the start of the day, and one of the students walked by and she said, "Like your fit." And I have these moments sometimes with middle schoolers. I said, like, "Good morning. I don't quite understand what you just said to me." She's like, "Anna, it means I like your outfit."
Oh, fit. I thought it meant like she liked, because that you don't wear very many things that are form-fitting, that she likes the form-fitting. I see, instead of outfit, I like your fit. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm totally using that.
I think it made me feel so good that one of the middle schoolers liked my outfit. Yeah.
Well,
like your fit.
You gotta think, okay.
No, she said, yeah.
Age appropriate. How do you feel about a middle schooler thinking that you're wearing something cool? No, it's good. Okay, so let everybody maybe try to use this phrase sometime in the next couple of weeks. Tell somebody that you like their fit and see how they respond to that.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. coming your way.
Coming my way.
sometime.
Okay, awesome. I'll try it on some of my students, although they all wear uniforms. So I'll be like your fit. Everybody has the same thing.
I don't know if it can go that way to them. They can say it to us.
Okay, good
A lot
point.
of my students
Good point.
know I love to sew, so sometimes they say things about my clothing because they know I made it. It's a form of sweet support from them.
I actually tell my students that I knit. I talk about it a lot because I think it's so important for young people to make things by hand also, and to see that things are made by hand. So they'll always go like, "Did you make that one?" I'm like, "If it's knit, I made it." And they'll be like, "What? That one?" Yeah, I made that. So I think it's good for them to see that.
For sure. Yeah.
All right, before we get started, I want to toast Anna today because Anna has an upcoming birthday. I'll give you a little math problem. She's currently a prime number.
I am.
In a year, she'll be a prime number.
That's true.
But this current year for her, she's going to have so many factors. So Anna, here's to a year of many factors.
Thank you,
make
Carolyn.
the world a better place.
Aw.
And I'm so glad you were born.
Thank you.
Cheers. Let's toast yourself. Come on.
Thank you, sister.
Our beverage is a little boring today.
Although this lime is from a lime tree that we have in our yard that is nicknamed Little Limey because when we planted it, it was so scrawny. And for about a year or two, so scrawny. We're like, is it even going to live? And now it has so many limes, we have to, let's say, share them or we can't.
We'll put a picture of Little Limey in. How old is Little Limey, do you think?
8 years maybe.
About 8 years,
And
okay.
actually lemon and limes, really we call it a tree, but they like to grow like a bush, which I have learned since I put one in my yard. So we sort of trim it so it's a bush.
And your husband, it was kind of his baby a little bit, isn't it? And with Little Limey, it was like about this big, and it had all these plants around it and now it's, you'll see a picture. Little Limey for the win.
And the limes are so intense in the best kind of way. Like if my husband cuts one in the kitchen and I'm several rooms away, I can smell it. They're so good.
You can even smell it from the drink.
Can you smell it?
We gotta get our other brother-in-law who lives back there to make us some
limey drinks.
limey drinks.
Wink, wink.
He's good at that. All right, let's get started, Anna. Anna, what are you wearing?
Okay, I'm wearing a dress called the Anna dress.
Wait, seriously?
It is.
That's the name?
Yeah. And the design company is called By Hand London. And it has beautiful seaming. So this is my school dress number 2. This is not something I would normally wear on a Saturday. You'll see on the catwalk. It's really something that I would wear to school. It's a little dressier. And it has some darts and just a beautiful waistline. It's made of rayon. I'm still kind of going through a rayon phase because I like the float and the flow. Although I think I will make this dress again and I will use a fabric with a little bit more structure or weight to it because some of the things kind of droop a bit because of the flowy fabric. And you'll also see on the catwalk that I'm wearing it with sneakers because I can convince myself that anything goes with sneakers because I find them so comfortable, partly because I have really large feet and it's hard to find shoes to fit, and sneakers are just so comfortable. So don't you think white Vans slip-ons go with anything?
Absolutely.
I do.
I'm the same way. I'm like sandals. Like when I have to stop wearing sandals, I can almost wear sandals the whole year here. And like if I can't wear a sandal, I feel like almost claustrophobic to have my feet in.
Yeah,
it's a pretty dress. We'll see it on the catwalk.
Thank you. It's one of my favorite things I've ever made. I think even wore it for school pictures last year.
Ooh.
What are you wearing, Carolyn?
I'm wearing the Calyx sweater, and again, you'll see it better on the catwalk. This is another sweater by the knit designer / genius architect.
You don't like
Elizabeth
this person at all?
Doherty. Her sweaters always fit so well. I knit the sweater in the summer of 2018. And it's using 2 strands of Shibui yarns held together. One that was a little bit more wool based and another one that was linen based. So it makes a really nice, almost like a heavy, good drapey fabric. One of those yarns is discontinued, and unfortunately, this yarn has not held up well. This is a hard wearing sweater in my wardrobe, and the yarn has begun to break under my arm, which is like a high wear place. And I kind of try to repair it and weave it in, but this sweater probably won't last more than a couple more seasons. I love it so much. I would knit it again in a second. Again, it's a really neutral. I wear it in California, Northern California. We're always layering. So this sweater gets worn probably from like March to November.
You do wear it a lot. I love it.
I love it. So that's the Calyx sweater by Elizabeth Doherty. All right, we'll go ahead and insert our catwalk.
Sneakers for the win. All right, BH 1820. It's one of the things we're stitching together. And by Queenstown Sampler Designs. And
do you want to go first?
Sure. I am doing the colors from the front of the sampler, so more muted.
I'll see.
yeah,
let's
may I
maybe
borrow
try the
that?
board just because of our light. See if that's better.
I'm gonna get up close and bring it up. So there's more to come on that bottom motif. And I am just still enjoying the muted colors.
Let me see where you are. Okay,
much.
so you finished the alphabet on the top.
For the half, for only the half.
Right, the half alphabet. Okay, wait till you see mine. We're almost in the exact same place. I love your muted colors, and especially this pom-pom flower down here.
Yeah, I knew you would love that one.
It's going to be interesting because I've also started the pom-pom, and we'll put in a picture of them side by side because you can really see a difference in the colors there.
Excuse me, I feel like I'm about to sneeze. Well, if it happens, it does.
Okay.
I had some nights of this, of like, I can do no wrong. Bloop, 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 bloop. Just everything, like starting my threads was easy, counting was accurate. And then I had a couple of nights with like, so frustrating. And it's so interesting to me how some nights I can feel like just so in the flow, and other nights are just like, wow, I think I'm going to stop because I'm making so many mistakes.
And was your frustration because you were counting incorrectly, your stitches weren't right? What was your frustration?
It was more,
thing?
I count, like something maybe was down one row and I had done like part of a motif. And I am someone who prefers to take it out than just go with it. It was nothing huge. I was just noticing the difference because I was like almost getting sassy in my head. Like,
I know.
I think I'm getting better at this. I can sort of see when I'm making a mistake and take it out right away. And then the next
boom.
night, yeah.
I know.
So I guess it's like a metaphor for life too,
I know.
right? We have our seasons of.
Do you find too, like especially on a day, maybe you've been really busy at school or your headspace isn't totally there. I don't know about you, but I only stitch really in the evening, and it's often when I'm done with everything. So sometimes it's not till like later my brain's a little bit done.
Exactly. Although I think it sort of surprised me because it's a rare evening when I don't feel like cross-stitching. It usually feels really relaxing, but I think that is exactly it. I think, the start of school inevitably it's a busy time and you're really, I don't know. I think I probably was just tired.
Yeah. I think it's also nice to have a couple projects because you have your no-brainer 28 count where you can really see things without thinking. Okay, so here's mine, and I'm using the brighter colors that the stitcher originally used. Again, here's this palette. I am enjoying these colors so much. Let me show my sample, and then I'll talk a little bit more about my color. Yeah, I'm going to hold them up together.
Really different, especially that tangerine color.
So my progress is funny, Anna, that we started with different pom-pom flowers, but we both started with the pom-pom flower. So here is my progress. I've also completed the half alphabet at the top. And I guess I've done the basket and the H.
Yeah.
The H was fun to stitch. And then coming in and doing that pom-pom.
Yeah, I'm really liking them both. It's so fun to see them.
It's so fun to see the color difference. I just, again, need to thank you all for the recommendations for the starting. These alphabets now, I'm doing the letters with the pin stitch to start the letter. And I'm also feeling it's a great time. Sometimes my pin stitch doesn't hold as I'm learning how to do it, so I'll tug on it and it comes out. But I'm feeling like an alphabet letter is a great way because if by chance I stitch the little letter and it comes undone, I can just restitch the letter. So once I get it going and I know the pin stitch, it has not unraveled, but I feel like this is just a safe place to start. So all of this last column of 3 letters was started with the pin stitch.
Great.
So
let's try to do a little side by side. Probably the photos are going to be much better.
Yeah, let's fold it on this. Just going to line it up so our lines match. Get our lines to match.
Yeah. Okay. It is amazing that we're doing, this is 2 times in a row now where we've done very similar parts in about the same amount.
Yeah. I'm going to reach across you.
Sure.
I don't know what this thing is in the middle. I keep thinking it's a water bug. I know it's like probably flowers in but.
Oh, I definitely think of it as a water bug.
Okay, we'll call it the water bug. I can't wait to do that water bug, but I'm saving it. I kind of want to finish this area and then come in and do the water bug.
Yeah.
So maybe we should maybe tell each other when we're going to do the water bug, or should we just surprise each other? See when we do it.
Or should we decide that we're going to do it in the next couple weeks?
Maybe. Okay. Should we do the water bug next, or do you want to finish this basket? These pom-pom flowers.
I think I want to finish this first.
Okay, and then move on to the. Okay.
Because I think since we've both done, I think we're close enough. We're both close enough that we could do it.
Yes. Okay.
Let's do it.
Sounds good.
Enough waiting.
Let's get to the water bug.
Mm-hmm.
So highly recommend that sampler, and it's turning out beautifully, both the muted colors and the brighter colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, our fruits of plenty, which is a stitch along from. Is it from 2020?
It's from 2021. 2021.
And we're taking turns giving assignments. And do you want to describe your
our last assignment was to finish this organic here, bring it down to the, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, to this hexagon. And if we had time, also to do this detailed down here.
Isn't it an octagon?
Is it an octagon? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, octagon for that. This is the monochromatic picture. The original design had 2 colors, but it's nice that he had a photo too for the monochromatic, and we're both doing monochromatic. So, okay.
Talk to us a little bit about your experience.
I just rocked my assignment. I finished the organic.
Ooh.
And I finished my border down the side, and even started to put in some of the lines, the infrastructure for that octagon.
Fantastic.
And
Carolyn looks so good.
I am, again, all into this project, and our assignments have so helpful, because I'm like, I like being held accountable, but I feel like we're not giving each other too much, like it's doable for this. And I'm knitting this on a...
Knitting? You just said I'm knitting this.
I'm stitching this on a Zweigart linen that I dyed with indigo dye, and I'm using NPI Silk, their brightest white color. I think it's like 991 BB. So...
Brilliantly bold. I don't know what it means.
I think you mentioned this, Anna. I can't remember which FlossTuber said it, that sometimes you look at something and you go, I made that?
I think it's Sarah and Sarah Stitchy Spot.
That's it. So I always leave my cross stitch sort of hanging out, like on the back of a chair or something, and I'll like wake up in the morning, and before I go to school, I'm like, did I really do that?
Yeah.
Because I just feel like this is looking so good, if I do say so myself.
One of my colleagues saw this one on Instagram, because you popped it up, I think, a couple days ago.
I did. I'm like, Anna, have you done your assignment?
I'm going to bring it in and show you, dear colleague, because I said the same thing. We're feeling like, oh my gosh, amazing.
Yeah. Okay, where's yours?
Really similar. I didn't do quite as many lines on the octagon, but I got down all the way.
Yeah.
And for me, the thrill of finishing the vine and then sort of encapsulating that organic part with the straight lines.
I agree.
Strangely satisfying.
Agree.
Like way more satisfying than it should be.
It really capped it off. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, we're really similar. I'm finding in general for me, stitching anything organic like that is slow going for me, because I'm constantly like looking at my chart, looking at my linen, and I think because my holes are so small here, it takes me a minute again to like readjust my eyes. So that organic, it just takes me a long time, and
yeah.
I'm just resolved to that. I don't know for you. And then once I don't have to look at my pattern, like when I just know what I'm stitching, then I find I get myself more in a flow.
So I feel like you and I have been pretty consistent on this. It's among my favorite kind of stitching to do. I know exactly what you mean. Like I have to like find my spot on the chart again, and it is a little slower. I really enjoy doing it, and I really enjoy the geometric flowers, like this kind of stuff, which I know you love too.
I love.
To me, the lines and the structures, that's the hardest thing for me, because I feel like it's so much more dependent on counting.
Oh, I guess I'm doing it so much relative. Like I go up, okay, I'm in 1 up 2 or something. Whereas the vines, I feel like there's no rhythm to it. Whereas when you start to do a geometric, even like a geometric flower like this one.
Oh, the geometric flower I love. I'm talking about the actual line. Like the parts of the octagon that I have yet to do. Like,
you don't like those?
No,
I mean, not like isn't the right word. I mean, those are more challenging for you.
I wouldn't even say that. I just, I don't enjoy them quite as much. If we're gonna like rate level of enjoyment,
yes,
there's nothing I dislike doing on this, but
you can tell
the organic vines are among my favorite.
You can tell I love getting to a line. I'm just like, yes, please, yes, please, yes, please.
And
yes,
I'm kind
please.
of like, okay, I'm gonna outline it and then save the rest for later.
So this is something I'm thinking about. The monochromatic, all these lines, and you'll see once this octagon's filled in, they're all just open like this with lines. Whereas the 2-color one of them is filled in. So like this one is, you know, completely filled in with the 1-color stitches.
More like a picture frame kind of.
So I'm debating once we get that image in there, I might fill in one of these sections to make it a solid white, the thinner one. So you can even see here, there's just lots of open space.
Particularly in those middle octagons.
Yeah, so maybe have one of them filled in as white.
I like that
as a
idea.
picture frame. So that's something I might go back and tweak a little bit. Okay. Anna, do you have our next assignment?
I do.
Okay.
So we're on slightly different places. I think I have one little bird and you have your big birds, but not your little birds. I'd like us to come down each side.
Okay.
And see if we can have our 2 little birds done.
Okay.
If you feel like that's too much, or would you like to do just one side at a time?
Let me see.
It's going to be some vines and some berries and some birds.
I'm gonna try for that. I think so. Getting down to both of these birds down here. Yeah.
And I think because I already have one of my little birds done, I'll try to add a few more lines to my octagon as well.
Yeah.
To sort of keep us.
Definitely.
We don't have to be exactly the same place, but it's kind of fun. When I'm stitching, I'm always wondering like what route you're taking.
I know.
You know how you think like, am I going to do the full cross or am I going to do a half cross and come back? And
I know, especially with the vines, I'm always thinking about where do I need to go? Do I do full crosses because I need to get there, or will I need to go out and come back for that? So I also had this little, back when I was working on this probably a year ago, I had put this in as note to future self, something's going on there. So I figured it out, I counted, and
what was it?
That diagonal line should be 15 stitches and I have 16 stitches in there. So when I get to that point, I'll rip it back and do that. But it was just a very easy
Okay, I'm glad
error.
it wasn't
So it wasn't like
too
off or anything.
Do you need to scooch down for this shade?
Yeah, so we're gonna pause for a second and then we'll be back. We're gonna scoot so I'm not quite in the sun. Okay, we're back. Can you notice anything different about me?
It's warm today.
It's warm today. That was like 5 minutes for us. Did it feel like no time at all for you? Okay. All right, so we have our Fruits of Plenty assignment. We're good to go. Anna, I just love that idea of the assignment. It really, and if anybody wants to join in, I've seen some Fruits of Plenty out there. If you want to kind of do our assignment too, if you're in a similar place, join in. I saw somebody, I think there's a group that are still working on this, and their hashtag is something like the fruit is still fresh or something. I'll have to go back and look at the hashtag. So cute, because I think if it's a group of them that are also committed, they want to finish it or they started it late. So
the fruit
is still fresh. Let's keep it going. Okay.
All right. Sampler September. I had a new start, and that is Marianne March by Kathy Barrick. It's a little needle roll. I'm not sure I'm going to finish it that way, but I was talking in a previous video about I'm just really liking muted colors, and this is what the whole time I've been uncertain about these colors on this fabric. I'm going to keep going. I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying the double verticals, these sort of big bold capitals. I'm enjoying the border. It feels a little lacy to me. I think I'm gonna unpick half of my A because the difference in the 2 threads, I think that's wood smoke, it's looking a little too sort of stripy for me. But it's just gonna be a little teeny tiny piece, and I'm liking it a lot. Okay. What do you think about the colors?
Can I give you my opinion?
Yeah, of course, I'm relying on that.
I'm going to anyway. I-L-O-V-E.
You do?
The colors. I think it's spectacular.
Would you unpick the A?
Yeah, I think I would.
Okay.
I think I would for that. I think those colors on this linen are soft. There's enough value. You completely see them. Nobody's getting ghosted out. Anna, love it.
Okay.
I have to say,
Great.
between the F and the K.
I thought of that
I'm sorry,
too.
but my brain is
I thought
filling
of
in. So
I know, but it's an L, so it's.
I know. Can you kind
oh.
of can you get those letters in there, please?
Oh my
no,
God.
No, seriously, Anna.
So funny.
Spectacular.
Okay.
Love.
Okay, good.
I know that feeling though, and maybe I don't know if you had something in your make sure. I want to make sure. I don't know if sometimes that covers our voices.
Yeah.
We should maybe one day upgrade and get like a mic, but that'll be another day. I wonder if you had something in your head first of what you were thinking it would look like.
That's a very interesting point that I hadn't considered because once again, well, I knew I had picked a very different fabric from the picture, but the thread color is really different. So I knew that when I picked the threads. I feel like sometime in the future, I'd like to pick all my own threads for something.
Yeah, you're doing it.
I feel like I'm getting ready for that.
Okay, we life is so busy right now. I gotta tell you, I don't have a free minute on a weekend for like 5 weeks. It's terrible. Not terrible.
Because you got some good things going on.
I've got some good things going on. We really need to go to a needle in a haystack because I really want to pick my linen for. You know what? I forgot to ask Anna. I'm going to ask right now. Are you going to do a birthday start?
I fully intended. I had a third sampler all kitted up for
that's
Sampler
right, the
September.
strawberry.
It's a little strawberry house. And now I'm feeling a little conflicted because I'm enjoying everything I'm doing so much. I don't really have an urge to start something new, but I'm also, I'm loving the traditions in the cross stitch community, and so I think we're just going to have to wait for my actual birthday and see what happens, and I will report back to everyone.
Okay, good. And that made me think of it because I am going to do a birthday start, and even if it's just like putting a few stitches in and just being like, this piece started on my birthday. I don't have to, and then even if I put it away for a little bit and come back to it, I think I like that. I like that tradition.
Yeah, I might have a note on my phone that says "needle in a haystack" with a growing list.
Yeah.
So we
got
to get up
we
there.
need to pick a date. It might not be till like the end of October, but
okay.
Let's get it on our calendars.
Okay. Enjoy the lime essence. Really, come on.
Oh yeah, it's actually quite
so
nice.
good.
I should have put a lime. I wonder what lime would taste like in iced tea.
I bet pretty good.
Could be good.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. I think that's enough about that.
Jane Hardy. Let me tell you, everybody. Jane and I can't believe I even thought I wanted to break up with her.
It's amazing the swing you've had.
I know. Okay, so Jane Hardy, 1840. And I love that this is 1840 and our BH sampler is 1820. This is Hands Across the Sea samplers. And I'm stitching it on Zweigart 28 count in the light sand color and using the called for DMC. I recently traveled to the East Coast for a wedding, and so I wanted to spend my plain time doing fill-in, and so I have done so much fill-in. I filled in my border. I've done all the house with, actually if you can hold that, finished my roof, and done all of this house in here.
That's a lot, Carolyn.
And because of the 28 count, it's 2 strands on 28, I could do it on the airplane. I still put on my magnifying glasses, but the light on the airplane is fine. I love having a piece that I can just pick up. Okay.
The colors. I just love the turquoise and the red.
Turquoise, and then it's this acid green for the window sashings. I put that in. It was just made the whole thing. It's funny, her colors in some ways are childish, but then there's this level of sophistication. And I feel like this acid green does that for me right here.
I see what you mean.
And then this whole, can you hold on again for a second?
Yeah.
This whole area down here is gonna be grass in that acid green with a bunch of like colorful animals in it. So really love this. All right, so I stitched this, and I really feel like 10-year-old Jane and I, well, 10-year-old me, we would have so much fun on the playground together because I love her attitude. I can't remember if I talked about this before on the FlossTube, but she's like, she can't figure out how to get her borders to match. There's like something going on over here, there's something going on over there, and she's like, I don't care, I'm not worrying about it. It's just beautiful the way it is. And then when she gets down here, she doesn't even try. She just puts it in a diagonal line. So I just love.
Or maybe that was her solution.
Maybe that was her solution. She's like, I don't need these little partial little buds right there. So I love to me, I'm like, I'm right there with you, girl. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful.
You are connected.
Okay,
This is
Jane
happening.
Jane and I are bonded.
Just out of curiosity, did anybody in the airport or on the airplane say anything to you? Like, what are you doing? Or I cross-stitched too, or anything like that?
One person said one thing, and I think it was just a stewardess that said, oh, that's pretty. And it's interesting because I knit a lot on planes, and people talk to you a lot about knitting. Like, so many people come up to me and be like, oh, what are you working on? I'm knitting too. I didn't get that with the cross stitch. Now I didn't really cross stitch in the terminal because I wanted to wait till I could get everything out. So it was more on the
glasses
get my glasses. It has, like, knitting, you just kind of pull it out and go. One thing I did realize though, because of this, I love stitching the 2 strands on 28 count. I think I would also enjoy it on 32 count. It's just the right ease for me. It made me realize, and I forgot to bring it today, I'll bring it next time, but I'm in the middle of doing Spring Moon by Plum Street Samplers. That I thought my linen was 32, but when I counted it's 36. I'm using 2 strands. I don't enjoy the process, and I'm breaking up with that project.
I'm gonna just stop. I mean, can you have enough done you can make it into a project bag?
You know, that's why I wanted to bring it, because I wanted us to look at it and see what can I do with it. I don't want to throw it away. I want to either pass it on to one of you if you want it, if that's not an issue for you. But I did decide we're breaking up.
Well, I'm about to teach pencil case making at school,
Okay,
so if
so
there's enough for a
it might
pencil
be
case,
that.
that might be work.
And I think that's why I almost stitched this one, because I wasn't enjoying the 2 strands on the
so you like overgeneralized to this piece?
I overgeneralized, and I thought, I don't like stitching with 2 strands, but it wasn't that. It was the ease, and as soon as I started this one, I'm like, I love it. I love it.
Great.
So I think for me, probably 2 strands on 28 or maybe 32 is going to be like that. So Spring Moon, I really loved your colors. I really loved the design. I'm just going to need to break up with you though.
Every time I see it, I do think, oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
I mean, not just yours, but
so
on Instagram.
Who knows? I might stitch it again in a different thing, but for right now.
Yeah, bring it next time if you remember.
I will.
Oh, we'll be at your house probably. So.
Yeah, so I will have it. Okay, Jane Hardy. I have another East Coast trip coming up. We have a lot of family weddings this fall. So again, I want to get some lines out so I can just do all my coloring on the airplane.
Right.
Olivia B on her most recent Instagram post, she's doing a really beautiful new Kathy Barrick design, which is essentially looks like wildflowers. And so she's outlined all the flowers, and all she has to do now, she calls it her coloring color. And I'm having so much fun with that project, even though it's not mine. I'm enjoying hers.
And I really like that chart, but the thing that gives me pause is what I've said about light colored thread stitching is a little bit harder. So Olivia, is that something?
Anna, that might be a nice chart for you to pick your own colors.
That's true.
What, you know,
or I was thinking trying 100 threes, because I feel like there's a tighter twist to them, and I'm wondering if I won't have my untwisty problem as much.
Yeah, I often think I don't see a lot of purple in cross stitch design, and out here in California, a dusty purple flower is one of the primary colors of flowers we have out here. So I was even thinking those would be beautiful in like a dusty purple with that sort of a sagey green for the greenery.
Yeah, that gray green that we have so much of.
Okay, so Jane Hardy, 1840. Jane and I are best friends.
All right, Carolyn, your blanket.
Okay, I just wanted to give a quick update. I realized I didn't talk about, this is my blanket I'm knitting for my granddaughter, Jay, and I'm making good progress on it. And I'm now back to my periwinkle. I started with periwinkle. That was the color the parents really asked for. They really liked that color. And I'm back here, and I'm gonna do a similar size, larger 5 repeat band of it up here, and end with just 1 chevron of the dark to end it up. I really am in,
is it going to be symmetrical? No, it's not quite symmetrical.
No, the ends
are?
What do you mean? Oh, no, it won't quite be symmetrical. This will be the same size, but this dark blue, that has 3 repeats of my chevron. I'm just going to do 1 repeat. It's just going to.
And why is that?
Because I don't have enough yarn to do 3.
Okay. So it'll look like that.
It'll look like that.
Yeah, that looks good too.
And that will be fine. I really want to get this done. It's starting to get cold, and get it to the baby.
It's again, I think I said this last time. Really? I wish everyone could touch it. Yeah. It's really, really beautiful. The
hard thing about blankets when they get to the stage is they're not very portable. So I'm pretty much just knitting this at home instead of taking it out and about with knitting. I'm doing some babysitting tonight though, so this will be a good project as I'm babysitting to work on that.
After everyone gets cozy.
Yeah. So there's my progress of that. Hopefully the next, and you know what? giving myself a challenge. Next time I see you all, ask me, did you finish your blanket, Carolyn?
Maybe we'll even be looking at a picture because it will be in the mail. Who knows?
We're not going to go that far. We're not going to go that far. We're going to just see, is the knitting finished? I don't know about you all. Sometimes I have some of you go to the post office and it's like 2 weeks, 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
And I still have something that needs to go to the post office.
By the way, Mom and Dad like to do that favor.
Oh, okay.
If you need that.
Great.
Yeah, because it's hard for me too.
Okay. Oh, Anna. Yeah.
All right. So my birds of a feather, modern folk embroidery. Oh, I didn't bring the chart out. I've been working on these for a long time. This is sort of my summer project, and I'm partway through finishing them. I've had this strawberry fabric, which I carted with me as I was choosing flosses. Whoopsie.
So you have the whole, you're all ready to stuff.
Yeah, so I've put interfacing on them, stuff. And by the way, after I made these, it might have been the exact same day, I heard Elizabeth Ann Stitch says she stitches all the way around and then unpicks a section to stuff. I know some people do the closure in the back, because then, like, I'm having to be careful about the way I fold these over when I do the ladder stitch.
You're going to have your crease and everything there.
So next time, help me remember. I'm going to try that next time.
Okay.
So now I thought I was going to put lace on these or use some of the strawberry fabric, like sort of maybe surround them like you would a quilt block or something. And in the end, I like the minimalist look, and I'm just using the fabric here. But then I thought, well, maybe I could make a few accent pillows that could go with them. So I could use some of my trim, whatever. I'm still considering maybe putting this rickrack around like that. Maybe I'll try it on one. And
I think that's one of my favorite trims, just that simple rickrack.
So this one's all ready for the ladder stitch, maybe this afternoon, filled with walnut shells. I'm still thinking, like, is that too many walnut shells? Is that enough walnut shells? But that's part of the fun.
When people say walnut shells, I had never seen it before. I don't know, in my image, I'm thinking these big hunky
I know, I was surprised at how small they were.
They were actually really small. They're like smaller than grains of sand.
And y'all are teaching me how to decorate for the holidays, because I love decorating for Christmas, but I typically don't decorate for other holidays, and couldn't help but pick up a little white pumpkin when I was at Safeway the other day, because I have two kinds of interior design that I'm very attracted to. Number one is very spare. Number two is like a collage of things. And I am digging the idea of putting all of this stuff together in a little bowl or a tray as a little collage.
A little collage, yeah.
And we just needed one of these. Even though these are not fall-like necessarily, I think they look great with a white pumpkin. They look great
with a white pumpkin. What doesn't? Anna posted a picture. Anna posted a picture on Instagram this morning. It's so funny. Like, when she posts, I want to reply and like it and comment it, and I'm like, that's a little weird, but I still do it. But I'm like, Anna, second level. Adding the pumpkin in your photo, second level.
Okay.
I love these. I love watching your process from start to finish. You started that this summer. These were your travel pieces. And, you know, don't you have a lot of nice memories for this? You were stitching with these over the summer.
They're packed with it.
Yeah, and that you are doing such a good job trying to get inspired by this to take your project all the way to the end. Like, I'm finding I'm really stitching, and then I'm not taking my projects all the way to the end. And this is encouraging me to do that.
Speaking of that, I do wish that I had done these as I fully finished them as I finished stitching them, because I spent a long afternoon doing this parts and I kind of ran out of patience. I enjoy the process, but it does take a certain amount of patience and thinking for me. Although, I don't know, maybe my vision wouldn't have been as clear had I don't know. And when am I ever going to do a little collection like that? Who knows?
Yeah. And because you do start to get a little bit of a backlog. Like, I have a backlog now, and that to me,
I'm sure everyone can relate to
this.
this.
Everybody else have a backlog. And just then you start feeling like it's this bigger job, instead of I just need to think of, like, just pick one, finish it, and pick another one, and kind of take it bit by bit.
Yeah, maybe we can all help each other with that. Because and even if you're sending it out, the expense of framing and everything, all in one fell swoop too. It's
And I think, as I said before, I'm also a process person. So sometimes when the process is done, I have everything rolled up and carefully stored, but I'm like, okay, that was really fun. And I don't think about that next finishing step for that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay. All right. One thing, and I'm like, is this something I'm curious about, or is this a shared supply? So I'm curious about my new shared supply. I just got this new yarn called Rambler.
Gotta touch it.
And there's just a really nice story about this yarn. There's a yarn company that it's a yarn store that I really like. It's only online. It's out of New Hampshire. So they just have an online presence, and then the owner and her, like her right-hand woman, whatever, I don't know what, her friend, her colleague, they make a weekly shopcast. So you really get to know them, and they highlight their product. And the woman that owns the store is from Great Britain, and she is really dedicated to showcasing British yarns. And then she has yarns from other places, but she started really British yarns. And in these yarns really highlight woolly wools and the integrity of the sheep.
What do you mean by woolly wools?
A woolly wool, so it hasn't been treated to be superwash. So feel it.
Yeah, it doesn't have I don't know how to describe
and I don't want to say it's scratchy, because it's not, but it feels like a sheep's wool. And then it has all these wonderful properties that wool has, and even smells really good. I love the smell of wool.
Yeah.
And her company, they say, I love this from the website, they say, "We love yarns with a story and invite you to join us on a little woolly wanderlust while we share the stories about our yarn producers, where the wool come from, and how the yarn is made." So then they, as a company, decided they wanted to design their own yarn. So this is the first yarn that Woolly Thistle has made. And I want to just read the tag. I'm sorry, I'm really geeking out on this. You might find this really boring, but I'm loving it. It's called Rambler yarn, and they say, "Inspired by our love for British breeds and sourced from American wool within the Southern Adirondack fiber producers, Rambler is spun in New York State, crisp and woolly. It's sturdy enough for socks, mitts, and so much more." And it's Dorset, Corriedale, and Gray Romney. So those are the 3 sheep wool that went into this yarn, and it comes in 10 really beautiful colors. If you're a knitter, definitely go watch their shopcast that highlights this yarn. So I love it.
Well, maybe the word is crisp. Crisp and woolly.
It's crisp and woolly. I love this. It's like a turquoise color, but
it's a very beautiful color.
It's the Gray Romney. So because it's gray, all of the yarn has that slight undertone of the gray that kind of mutes the colors for it. So with this, I'm hoping to knit the sweater, the Eelhaas sweater. I'll put a picture of it here. I showed it last time. This is inspired by the Seattle Stitcher who has knit this. This yarn might be a little thin for that, so I'm going to swatch and see what it's like, and then I might have to do a little math, but I actually like doing a little math if I have to.
Yeah, super good at it.
So I'll make it work. So again, geeking out about this yarn.
Yeah. We're at our thumbs up.
We're at our thumbs up.
So we are going to share 3 events that are thumbs up in the last couple of weeks. My first one is a hard but fruitful event, back to school night. So I have a shy part of me, and I feel so deeply about sort of serving every student in the classroom. And so I'm always hoping at back to school night, as I'm presenting my ideas, that everything kind of comes out right, and parents feel like, oh, our students are in good hands and everything. So I get a little nervous every year for back to school night, and it happened, and it went well, and there we go. That's event number 1. Event number 2, I'm calling it my Filled with Gratitude event. My son Jay's birthday occurred in the last couple of weeks, and it is just one of my greatest joys in life, being a mother. So when those birthdays roll around,
celebrate them. So happy he's born.
And my third event is what I'm calling my Heart Goes Pitter Patter event, because we had some rain, and I was lying in bed, woke up earlier than I needed to be up, and I heard that little tinkling sound down the gutter in the corner of our...
This is not a time of year where we get rain.
And it was just like a feeling of relief and celebration, because we really need rain, and that cozy feeling. So those are my 3 events.
Yeah,
what about you, Carol?
We were out of town, so we missed that. All right, so my first, I'm calling it my milestone event, and it's similar to Anna's, but for different reasons. So it was also, I had my back to school night about a little over a week ago, and for me, I actually enjoy the public speaking part of it. And my husband's a big public speaker, and he has sort of this formula for your 10-minute how to create and present a 10-minute speech, and our back to school night is 10 minutes with the parents. So I really love doing that. It's a milestone event for me because I love public speaking, but I also love it when I'm over prepared. So I actually write a script for myself and I practice it. So it's almost like putting on a show or a presentation. So I love that feel for it. And then I also feel like once back to school night is over, you're into your year. It's by that point, I know all of I teach lots of different students because I have them rotating through with me during the day. At this point, I know everybody's name. I can almost pick them all out. I call it in the wild. Like you learn their names first in the classroom, and then you see them out in the wild. And especially sometimes they have masks on, sometimes they don't. So you're trying to do that. But I always feel by back to school night, I'm starting to know my students, and we're just easing into the year. So that's a big milestone for me. The second event was a life event. So my niece on my husband's side got married, and we were traveling. We went from California to the beach of Delaware. So it was a long traveling for a one-day event, but it was so awesome. They had beautiful weather. It was a beautiful event. They're a lovely couple. And I also feel so lucky. My in-law side of the family is so fabulous. I forget that they're my in-laws. It just was so wonderful at a wedding. You get to see everybody and get to chat and catch up with everybody. So that was just such a wonderful event. Yeah. And then my third, I'm calling my unexpected thumbs up event. I had a long day at school. I was really tired. I had to go to the drugstore to get some really mundane things, but I had to go and get it. And I walk in and I see candy corns. Candy corns are out. I love candy corns. And I don't know if you remember from like maybe my first or second video where my thumbs up was with jelly beans. I think they're also made by Brock's. So you can probably get a feeling for the type of candy I like. I always buy myself the smaller bag because you can see this just happened a few days ago, but they're already gone. So it was so unexpected. It went from being like, oh, I'm tired. It's the end of the day. I'm getting to the drugstore to be like, oh, I have candy corns. And when I go home and after I have dinner, okay, I had some before dinner. The
backwards dinner.
The healthy me was like, after I have my dinner, I can have some candy corns. So that was really fun. Who knows? I might buy one more bag.
Okay, so tell us, did you bite off one so you just had the white part left and pretended that it was a tooth that fell out?
Yeah,
that's what I used to do when I was little. You didn't do that?
I didn't, but I can see that. I don't know what it is about candy corn. Do you all like candy corn? And if so, why? Or do you think like this is the most ridiculous thing to like? But you're right, as a kid you like eat off each of the 3 different layers, and it's kind of like one of those things that's just been around forever, and yet here it still is.
I think they're cool looking.
Yeah, cool looking.
That's about as far as I'm gonna go.
You know what? They would be nice in a little collage in your montage.
Oh, a little bowl with some candy corn.
Of some candy corns in there.
Let's just see.
It's probably a little bit too bright for that, but maybe if we have some like Halloween stitching or something, or Thanksgiving stitching, you have a few candy corns there. Yeah. So, I think that does it.
That's it.
All right, everybody. Until next time.
Happy crafting.
And stay curious. See ya.
Bye.